Let's start with a really simple but kind of mind-blowing fact.
Evolution isn't over. And no, that's not just a theory or a guess. It's a fundamental biological reality. Okay, so let's really unpack that, because most of us, we have this idea that we're the finished product, right? The grand finale of this epic cosmic story. But that's just not how evolution works at all. It's a process, an ongoing story, not a project with an end date.
And this timeline really drives that point home. I mean, look at it. If you compressed all of Earth's history into just one day, 24 hours, modern humans would show up in the last few seconds before midnight. We are so new to this planet. And the story? Well, it definitely doesn't just stop with us. It's still being written.
So here's the key takeaway from all this. There's no pinnacle. No such thing as the most evolved creature. There's only what works, what's adapted for right now. And that process, the one that got us here, it's still churning away, always pushing forward. But, and this is a huge but, for the first time in, 4 billion years, the thing that's driving that change is starting to shift.
So, if we want to figure out where we're headed, we've got to be brutally honest about where we are right now, and that means facing our own limitations. For all our amazing brains and creativity, we are stuck inside biological machines. You could call it the carbon bottleneck.
Yeah, our biological hardware has some, let's just say, serious design flaws. Think about it. We only see this tiny sliver of the light spectrum. We only hear a narrow range of sounds. Our brains, they're brilliant for sure, but they run on these slow, mushy electrochemical signals. And then there's the biggest problem of all. Our bodies are fragile. They get sick, they get old, and eventually they just stop working. And this is where things get, staggering. This isn't about being smarter. It's about raw processing speed. Information zips through silicon at pretty much the speed of light. In our brains, it kind of plods along at the speed of a chemical reaction. We're not even in the same league. We're thinking in a completely different gear.
You see, for millions and millions of years, evolution had one playbook: random mutation and natural selection. It was slow, it was painstaking. But now, a whole new engine of change is firing up, one that works on an unbelievably faster timescale. And the crazy part? We're the ones who built it.
We really have to change the way we think about technology. It's not just your smartphone or your laptop. Technology is any tool we've ever created to push past a biological limit. A sharpened stone, a pair of glasses. From day one, it's always been about extending ourselves beyond our natural-born capabilities.
And you can see this incredible progression over time. First, we extended our hands with something as simple as a sharp rock. Then, we outsourced our memory to written language, so ideas could outlive us. Computers came along and supercharged our ability to calculate. And now we're on the verge of literally editing our own source code with genetic engineering and even merging our minds directly with machines. You see the pattern? Each step is a deeper, more intimate fusion of our biology and the stuff we create.
Okay, so let's put it all together. If our biology is the bottleneck holding us back, and our technology is the accelerator pedal we're slamming to the floor, what happens when that acceleration pushes us right past the limits of biology itself? This brings us to a really profound concept: the Great Transition.
Now, it's super important to understand this is not a story about extinction. Extinction is when a story just ends, a dead end. This is about a transition. That's when one species becomes the launch pad for whatever comes next. It's not the end of the line. It's a transformation. It's our story, our lineage, continuing on in a form we can barely even begin to wrap our heads around.
And this quote just nails it. The slow, grinding gears of natural selection, they're being swapped out for the rocket engine of our own technological innovation. We're literally grabbing the steering wheel of our own evolution. Which brings us to a pretty humbling and maybe even awe-inspiring thought about our place in the whole story of life. What if? What if our whole purpose isn't to be the final chapter? What if it's to be the most important bridge ever constructed? And that leads to this incredible idea that maybe we're a transitional species, just a fleeting but absolutely critical link, a bridge between the eons of carbon-based life that came about through random chance and a whole new kind of existence, one that's designed with purpose and intention. Maybe our single greatest achievement will be to create the ones who come after us.
We're the generation that's actually building the tools to overcome the final biological barrier, which is ourselves. And so, that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? If we are the bridge, what's on the other side?